All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the show. Let me know if you can hear me. Today is Friday, August 1st, 2025. You are now watching Permission to Exist. I am your host, Permission to Exist, also known as PTE. And tonight we are going to catch up on all the news stories that have been happening over the past 2 months. I recognize that I left you guys hanging. I am so sorry. It's never intentional, it's always circumstantial. Wow, the last show we did was June 2nd. Got to get better about that. I just don't know how. Primarily because y'all, I feel like I've said my piece. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I feel like I've said what needs to be said. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how these creators can like do content about the same thing over and over and over again. That would drive me crazy. And even though we primarily focused on the topic of narcissism, and that is kind of repetitive, we explored different angles of it. So it didn't feel repetitive, at least not to me. But there are creators out there who just cover the same topics over and over and over again. And it doesn't seem to bother them. I wish I was like that, but there's only so many different ways I can say that narcissists suck. They're terrible people. We would be better off without them. I don't know how else to say that. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see how the channel continues to evolve. Next year will be 10 years, if you can believe it. Some of my channel OGs are in the chat. Shout out to the OGs who have been here since 2016. That's crazy. Also, big shout out to everyone who supports me, be that on CashApp, Patreon, super chatting, liking, commenting, and subscribing. It all counts and it all matters. So I appreciate every single one of you who show me love in that way. It really does help. And I appreciate you greatly for the support that you show. Okay. In any way, I really do. So, man, 2017. Wow. I can't believe it's been that long. That doesn't even feel real. That doesn't feel realistic to me, but I guess it is. So, oh man, it's been a journey. It's been a journey, and there's still so much I haven't done yet, but we'll see if I get there one day or not. Welcome, everyone. We have so much to talk about. I've been keeping track over these past 2 months. I solicited you all earlier for a couple of ideas. So I think there's a Q&A up. So feel free to drop ideas in there. Some of you dropped it on the channel post. So thank you so much. And some of you just shot me an email. So I appreciate you guys because there was so much to talk about. I didn't know what to focus on. To be honest with you, all I can say is that this summer has been completely insane. Completely insane. I think it has something to do with the heat. It has been incredibly hot here in Georgia. I don't know about where you are, but here in Georgia, I honestly don't feel like I've experienced heat like this ever in my life, to be honest. Like, I think back on like my childhood and my, school days and things like that. I don't think I've ever been this hot in my life, y'all. Ever. Ever. Because it's like I'm laughing because it tickles me, my reaction to it, because this week hasn't been as bad as like last week and the week before it, but I would step outside and instantly feel like I was going to die. Like instantly feel like if I stay out here any longer, I'm going to die. Like there's no doubt about it. If I continue to stand on this pavement, I am going to pass away. So I would have to get back inside. I thought something was wrong with my air conditioner, called the AC people out to come take a look at it. And that man basically said, ma'am, I've checked your whole entire system. There's nothing wrong with your AC. It's just hot. I was like, you mean to tell me I have to live with this? And he was like, oh, I had a heat stroke the other week. I was like, excuse me? He's like, oh, I'm fine now. I'm fine now. But yeah, I had a heat stroke while working in a customer's attic. I was like, they send you into the attic in this type of heat? He was like, well, yeah, because if the AC is broken, someone has to fix it. I was like, and you had a heat stroke and you're back at work. So while he was up in my attic, I kept checking on him. I was like, you good? Do you need any water? Are you feeling faint? What year is it? Okay, just checking. Because the last thing I need is somebody passing out in my attic because I wouldn't be able to help him. I wouldn't be able to get him downstairs. And why did they start putting air conditioners in the attic? What is wrong with you people? Are you people insane? For many reasons, but who wants to climb upstairs to service an AC or change the AC filter? Why in the world would you put an AC in the attic? And then I found out something else that was really disturbing. I was talking to a pest control person and I was just asking them a bunch of questions. And I was like, oh, can you treat the attic as well? Because I hate going up there, y'all. It's scary to me because I just have that sixth sense for bugs. I just know that they're up there. And the person told me, she said, ma'am, we can, but you're not going to be happy after we do. I said, why? She said, because that's the last place the bugs can basically go. So if we treat the attic, they're going to come down. I said, oh, no, 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 never mind. You can just let them be up there, let them cook up there and let them do their thing, right? Because no, ma'am, I don't need a whole bunch of critters descending on the lower house. Anyway, why don't we get started? I didn't make that little second slide that I normally make. I just didn't feel like it because I also felt like it wasn't going to cover everything we had to talk about. So we're just going to talk and then occasionally I'll share my screen and we'll go from there. Let me see if any comments have come through on the Q&A just so I can have an awareness. Okay, looks like none yet. That is fine. I will check back in a few minutes. So welcome, y'all. It's good to see y'all. I know it's been a while. I hope you've been staying cool. Let's talk about how this summer kicked off. This summer kicked off with the No Kings protest. Millions of people, I believe around the world, definitely here in the United States, but I believe around the world, millions of people gathered to protest this nightmare that is currently in our White House. Lord. And it was beautiful. I did not participate. I don't participate in those types of things because I get lost in crowds and I get very panicked in large crowds like that. So no, I did not participate, but I saw it. It was beautiful. And you love to see it, but it doesn't appear to be stopping him or his flunkies at all. They're still going. And I just don't understand what their end game is. And some people will probably say, well, Project 2025 is their end game. I'm like, nah, because that's going to destroy the whole world. So is that their end game, to destroy the whole world? And if so, that validates one of my personal theories, which is part of the reason we're having all of the problems that we're having is because we are all the unfortunate participants in these men's like mental game. They're all playing like World of Warcraft or whatever that game is called. They're all playing like a video game in their head and they're forcing us to participate in like the real life version of it. So one kingdom is trying to take over another kingdom. Another kingdom is trying to take over this kingdom. Sometimes they're successful, but in the end, like the final battle, the final boss, they battle each other and destroy the whole world. Like we are the unwitting participants in these males' psychotic fantasy world. And that's all I can think, because how could you, the most logical creature, not realize that what you're doing is going to ultimately destroy the planet that you are also on? How do you not get that? So I loved the No Kings protest. I thought it was beautiful, but they're still going. So the protests aren't working. He does not care that we don't like him. I actually think he enjoys that. I think he enjoys the fact that we don't like him. It's like fuel for him. It makes him important and relevant. I hate the fact that I have to see his name every day against my will. The only way I could avoid it is if I didn't go on my phone at all, if I didn't check my email at all, if I didn't talk to other people for like 24 hours, then maybe I could avoid hearing about this man for one day. Just one day. It's been almost 10 years of this mess. He's part of the reason my whole channel started in the first place. So it's been almost 10 years of this nightmare. So the No Kings protest was big, it was beautiful, but it was unfortunately ineffective because they're still going. However, and I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but I think it's important because I've said this before on the channel and I want to say it again. I don't think most people are into my style of protest because it is difficult, it's not easy, it can be painful at times, but it is so necessary. It's necessary. So, jumping ahead to a story that I actually wanted to cover later, but it's coming up now, the fertility rate has declined in the United States. So, congratulations, ladies. I am so proud of you guys. I am so proud of you. Let me get exact. Fertility rate declines in US. This story came out. Wow. Wow. This story came out this week. Okay. The US fertility rate has reached a new low in 2024, CDC data shows. So let me get my screen shared here so we can have some type of visuals. Let's see here. Entire screen, share this one. Boom. All right, that should work. Boy, you get rusty if you don't do this for a while. There we go. Okay, so the fertility rate in the United States reached a new low in 2024, CDC data shows. People are marrying later and also worried about their ability to have the money, health insurance, and other resources needed to raise children in a stable environment. Yeah, no shit. No shit. But this is the type of protest that I'm talking about. This is one of the examples of the type of protest that I'm talking about. You have to protest for real. You have to refuse to have their babies. You have to refuse to participate in every business that is not essential to life. Meaning, you're canceling things like vacations, little excursions here and there. You're not doing extra shopping that's not truly required for life. You're not going to their concerts. You're not going to their different events. You're not participating. You just flat out refuse to participate in every way except the ways that keep you alive. And of course, they're still going to price gouge us there because we know they're price gouging at the grocery store and things like that. But at least they're not price gouging you on other things. You have to truly protest. You have to truly protest for them to feel it. Otherwise, they think that you're okay with it. They think you're fine with it when you don't truly protest. But I have to give credit where credit is due. Shout out to the ladies, married or otherwise, who have simply said, no, we're not having your babies. And I read another story somewhere that said that the states that have abortion bans have their rates of what's it called? What's it called when you get your tubes tied or the men get vasectomies and stuff like that? Fertility management. There's a term for it. I just can't think of it. But those rates have gone up in those states. So it's like, ooh, okay, they took away abortion. I guess they thought that was going to force more babies out. No, people are simply getting their tubes tied and having vasectomies. Like, you have to imagine the absolute audacity and gall and the pure, uncut narcissism of a person who's like, you are going to have this baby. Oh, here's another reason the fertility rates have gone down, y'all. Apparently, teenage pregnancy has dropped to an all-time low, which is a great thing, right? You think that would be celebrated, right? But some lunatics on the other side of the aisle are upset about it. They're like, the teenagers stopped having babies. Well, that's what you wanted, right? When I was a teenager, there were campaigns all over the place to convince teenagers not to have babies. And guess what? It worked. Because that was the whole thing back in the 90s and like early 2000s. Teenage pregnancy, blah, blah, blah. Oh, the teenage pregnancy is through the roof and blah, 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 blah. Like they went on and on and on about it. So the teenagers finally stopped having babies and now they're mad because their birth rates are dropping. Exactly. Chat says, especially after what they did to that woman in Georgia, like how horrific. That is horrific. And I need to get an update on how that baby is doing. That poor child, that poor child, that poor family, that poor woman. That is just horrific. So, and for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's the woman who, I feel like we talked about this, but maybe not. She herself was a nurse. She was pregnant. She went to the hospital saying she just did not feel right. They basically just told her, "Yeah, well, you're pregnant. So, of course, you're going to feel weird when you're pregnant. Go home, get some rest, you'll be fine." Something to that effect. Well, she ended up having a brain hemorrhage that was related to her pregnancy, and she essentially passed away. She died. But she was brain dead, basically. They kept her body alive with machines long enough for them to extract the baby from her corpse, because let's be real, she wasn't alive anymore. And from what I read, they had to actually take the baby, not because the baby was ready, but because the mother's body was beginning to deteriorate because she wasn't alive anymore. And her family didn't want that. And they were saying she wouldn't have wanted that. And they forced it through anyway. They're sick, sick people. This woman became a science experiment, all in the name of so called pro life, all for the same people who, when that baby boy gets old enough, they'll deny him things like health care, a free shot, not a free shot, but a fair shot at life, things of that nature. They're going to make his life. So you want the baby born just so you can make his life difficult later. You're sick. You're a scourge on the planet. You really need to be extracted yourself. You do. You need to be extracted and put somewhere else so you all can just kind of like nuke each other and let the rest of us live in peace and prosperity. Because this is not the road to prosperity. It's really not. But anyway, fertility rates are down. Congratulations, ladies. Now, some people were saying they were debating over the semantics of fertility, saying arguably that birth rate and fertility are two different things. So let's see. Let me actually see, because I didn't look into it. No. This is birth rate. I think it's the news outlets that have it wrong. The fertility rate in the US dropped to an all-time low in 2024 with less than 1.6 kids per woman, new federal data released Thursday. The US was once among only a few developed countries with a rate that ensured each generation had enough children to replace itself, about 2.1 kids per woman. They kill me with the 0.1 and the 0.6, but whatever. But it has been sliding in America for close to 2 decades, 20 years, as more women are waiting longer to have children or never taking that step at all. That is a birth rate, but it's fine. We can call it whatever you want to. Fertility rate, birth rate, it's dropping and the women aren't here for it. Because keep in mind, what they're basically saying is, even if you have one child, what they're saying is you're part of the problem too. You and your one baby. What are we going to do with one baby? Because that it kind of cancels itself out. You are replacing yourself with that one baby. So it's like 1 minus 1 equals 0. It cancels itself out. You need 2 babies because it at least replaces you and then gives you 1 extra. But to be honest with you, technically it's 3. 3 babies is what would keep our population growing. 1 to replace you, 1 to replace the man you made the baby with, and then an extra 1. Do you see? So if you have 2, you have 1. If you have 1, you have none. So if you have 3, you have 2. If you have 2, you have 1. If you have 1, you have none. So you and your one baby, they're not pleased with you either. So I think it's beautiful. This is my style of protest. This is what I like. Okay. Keep it up, keep going. And I'm sure they'll try to find a way to punish us for this too. Because that's all they seem to be interested in doing. Because here's the thing about them, and it actually plays out across like It goes across everything. They're not creative enough to figure out how to fix it. And they're too hateful to admit when they're wrong and just do the opposite thing of the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? So instead, they try to use force and aggression and violence to get their way because they're not creative enough to find a way that actually works. Or if they know the way that actually works, it would make them wrong in their entire approach at life, and they'll never admit that they've been wrong. So they would rather use violence, aggression, manipulation, all that stuff to get what they want as opposed to just doing the right thing. It's the same thing with these businesses, right? So I'll give you another example. So these businesses weren't creative enough to figure out how to get customers to keep coming to them and spending their money. So instead of them changing their business model to something that would benefit the customers, they just change the model to something that basically forces the money out of you. For example, all these different subscription services like Microsoft. Back in the day, you could just buy Microsoft Word and PowerPoint on like a little CD, put it in your computer, upload or whatever, download the software to your computer, and now it's yours. And it's yours until you were ready to upgrade to the next one. And if you never upgraded, that was fine. You just had that original version. Now you have to pay $6.99 a month to access Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Excel, things like that. $6.99 a month. You'll never buy it. You can't purchase it anymore. It's insane. Every time that little charge comes out of my account, I get angry. And the primary reason I get angry is because it's a monopoly. I really don't have a whole lot of other options. I mean, I have Google Sheets, but Google Sheets just doesn't perform the same way that Microsoft Word does. It just doesn't, you know? And I'm really surprised that the corporations went along with that. I'm surprised they agreed to that, to just pay this continuous subscription to use software that back in the day, we could just buy it, upload it, and that was that. Or download it, whatever, and that was that. So that comes from a lack of creativity. You don't know how to manage your money properly. You lack creativity. So you don't know how to make these people continue to spend money with you in a way that keeps your business afloat. So they said, we'll just take the option away from them altogether and put them all on permanent subscription models. Okay? So yes, they stopped putting CD-ROMs in the computers. Exactly. Exactly. So it's crazy. So it's all the same thing. It's like, yeah, we could give them health care and maternity and paternity leave and more reasonable working hours and things of that nature and make life safer for the children to be born into. But nah, we'd rather just take away, all their fertility and reproductive rights and force them to have babies because we can't figure out how to do it the right way. But you're superior though. So superior, you can't figure out how to voluntarily get people to do what you want them to do. God, I feel myself trailing. This has been the other part of the problem, y'all. I have so much to say about so many different things that it's hard to focus them into one packaged piece of content, but I'm working on it. So anyway, let's move on. So since we're still talking about the orange one, early June, Elon and Trump had themselves a little cat fight. Did you all see that? And for a brief moment, I was inspired. For a half of a second, I thought, okay, finally, finally, this is it, right? Elon's been in there. He's been, in the rooms with all these conversations. He's been around this man. I'm sure they've had all kinds of pillow talk. Finally, Elon is going to be the one to blow the cap off of this whole entire thing. That's what I thought, because Elon was tweeting. Let me see if I can actually find the tweet. He was putting out all kinds of stuff. He said the reason that the Epstein files, which we're about to talk about in a minute, haven't been released is because Trump is in them. And I was like, oh, here we go. Elon Musk, Trump, in Epstein. I'm sure you all seen this already because it's 2 months old. But you know, oh, is this a video? No, I want the picture. Here we go. Oh, that's good enough. All right, so boom. Many of you might remember this. It says time to drop the really big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, DJT. And I think this came on the heels of Trump saying something like, oh, Elon is just mad that he's not going to get the subsidies or something. I forgot what set it off, but Elon went on like a 2-day long tirade against his dear leader, right? And I almost went live then. I almost did, but I didn't. I was like, let's just see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. And to my great disappointment, Elon tweeted out all this stuff. Then he went silent for a few days. Then he came back and he was like, yeah, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said that or something like that. And I'm like, oh, they got to him again. Why are they so scared of this man? Why are they so scared of this man? Why? I don't get it. Why are they so afraid of this man? They are terrified of him. Elon backs down after a couple of days and was like, yeah, somebody said that they readjusted his meds. I don't know. I don't know what medications the man may or may not be on, but that's what somebody said. That he got taken to a dark room, his meds got readjusted. He came out and said, you know what? Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking. It's like, no, go for it. Like, go for it. Like, be a real hero. Because we all hate you now. We were rooting for you at first, and then we saw your true colors. Your true colors came out. And then it's like something clicked. He went off his meds allegedly or something. And he was getting ready to expose it all, got pulled to the side, came back out and said, you know, guys, I'm really sorry. I shouldn't have said that. Like, it's just so sad. It's like, who is going to save us? Who is going to save us from this, y'all? Other than ourselves, but like, I think everyone is too modern now for a true revolution. We've all been modernized too much. We're all afraid for our jobs and our, livelihoods. And they basically put the fear in us without doing it directly, It's sad. Like the people of the past, our foremothers and forefathers would be so ashamed of us because they believed in real revolution, but they also didn't have things like the internet, TV, magazines, phones, things of that nature, which are all a form of monitoring. If you think about it, it's like a way of being monitored, So because we're all being monitored, and that reminds me of another story I want to talk to y'all about. Let me find my pen and write it down so I don't forget. Yes, we're all being monitored to such a degree that no one wants to be that person to set it off. You know what I'm saying? Because what are we going to do, y'all? Like, the only people that could save us are the people who are closest to all of this, but they're all in cahoots. They're all in cahoots, so they're not going to do anything. They're not going to do anything. The constituents aren't going to do anything. So are we all really just going to sit back and watch this train wreck? Looks like it. Looks like it. One of the requests that came through was, let me see, I want to do the exact words that they wrote. The crisis of democracy was the request that they made. And we are in a crisis, y'all. It's like, in addition to all of this, I'll come back to this in a minute, but in addition to all of this, the Supreme Court limited federal judges' power to block executive orders. So basically, this man can do whatever he wants to do. He's there. You know how sometimes like he'll do an executive order, then some judge in like some random state will shoot it down. That's what they're trying to get rid of. They're trying to get rid of the ability to do that. So basically, he can just issue an order and it become law, and that's that. That's a king. And that's what all those protests were about. No kings. This is a democracy. We have a say so. We have a voice. We have a right to reject your executive order or whatever foolishness you've cooked up. We have a right to reject that. He's trying to take our rights away from us, just like a real rapist would. It's very rapist in spirit. The spirit of rape is what you want doesn't matter to me. The only thing that matters is what I want right now or in the future, whatever. But what you want doesn't matter. Your say so, your opinions, your thoughts, your consent, all of that, your rights doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what I want. That is the essence of rape. And it's like, it kind of tracks that he would take away the federal judge's right to reject or strike down one of his executive orders. That's the spirit of a rapist. That's the problem. And it seems to just follow him everywhere he goes, doesn't it? So, so there's that. And it's just like, what are we going to do? How are we going to get out of this? I don't know. I wish I had answers for y'all other than the extreme protests, like I was telling you about. Stop having their babies, refuse, married or otherwise, refuse to bring more children for them to feast off of, because that's what they're upset about. They're not upset that babies aren't being born. They're upset that 20 years from now, which goes by in a flash, by the way, 20 years sounds like a long time, but it actually goes by really quick. They're upset that 20 years from now, there's not going to be enough people who would be babies today. 20 years from now, there's not going to be enough people to fill their colleges. There's not going to be enough people to work in their different businesses and organizations. There's not going to be enough people to buy their goods and services. There's not going to be enough consumers and workers. There's not going to be enough of a workforce. And there's not going to be enough people to even buy what the workforce is creating. So that's the problem. That's what they're upset about. And that's what they're worried about. The other thing that they're worried about is that if the United States birth rate drops, but other countries' birth rate is growing or increasing, they're concerned that the other countries will basically just come take the United States over, and they probably will. I mean, and I can't think of anyone who deserves it more, but they probably will because there's just more of them. That's what they're worried about. They're worried that if we don't have millions upon millions of people here to represent the United States, other countries that do will just simply come over and take it. That's why they're trying to block all the immigrants. That's why they're trying to kick and deport everyone out of the country, because they're afraid of the takeover. But I'm here to tell you that no one deserves it more than you. No one. Because the whole country has been built on a lie, basically. It's been built on a false pretense. And the wrongs of the past have never been made right, truly. So you never were supposed to prosper. You're like basically a con man who's been getting away with it for 400 plus years. And now it's finally time to pay the piper and you're mad. Like, this is all predictable. I'm really upset that the most logical group of people, allegedly, just can't seem to put two and two together and figure that out. This was the absolute expected outcome. What other outcome did you expect? Anyway, I got off track. So Elon and Trump got into a cat fight. Then Elon apologized. Then he recently stirred it back up again, but then he backed down again. I'm like, this backing down, I cannot stand this cowardice, man. It's the cowardice for me. I can't stand it. Like, please be about something. Please. Like, And he would have the power to do it because he's on track to becoming a trillionaire. How? I have no idea. Because there's no way you're making trillions off of Tesla, and there's no way you're making trillions off of Twitter. There's just no way. I want to buy a blue check so bad, only because when you have the blue check, you can organize the tweets that you save in folders. And I need those folders so bad. There's so many different things that I find that I need to reference quickly, but I can't because I can't put them in folders on Twitter. I can put them in folders on my computer, but that's an extra, what, 3, 4, 5 steps? I'd so much rather be able to just sort it into a folder on the platform, but there's just something in me that just cannot give this man my money. I just can't do it. And right now they're running a special, super affordable. I could afford it. It's not about affording it. It's about the fact that why would I give this man who's already almost a trillionaire even a couple dollars? Why would I give him 1 penny? You're a trillionaire. You should be giving this to me for free. So yeah, say it with your chest, please. Okay. I know they're planning on it, but it's not going to work. Chat says they're planning on replacing everyone with AI anyway. It's going to fail. I'm telling y'all it's going to fail because they are going to try for the rest of their lives to replace the human being. They're not going to be able to because AI cannot reason. AI has no intuition, and AI doesn't understand motivations. AI also, I don't believe, understands when a person is mentally ill, which matters. It's still just a computer at the end of the day. A computer that apparently is guzzling like millions of gallons of water and contaminating certain communities. God, you're all such followers, these companies. It's like one company started going AI like a parrot, AI, AI, and all the rest of them went AI, AI, AI. Now that every single company has some version of AI that I reject wholeheartedly every single time. I'm going to reject it until they just start forcing it on us, which seems to be their business model. Like, hey, we're going to give you a chance to opt into this. And then once you don't opt in, I'm just going to force it on you. It's that spirit, that rape spirit. Okay. So anyway, Elon and Trump had a cat fight. I so was hoping Elon would grow some balls and really just call this man to the carpet. But I still think this was pretty good. Time to drop the really big bomb. He's in the Epstein files, which is the reason why they've not been made public. So let's move on to that. Why don't we move on to that topic? This whole Epstein files saga. Honey, this is an example of what I was talking about earlier. Something I want to discuss that has so many rabbit holes on it that I can't really focus the thought, right? Yes, reject it every day. Reject AI every day. Would you like to try AI version of this? No. Would you like AI to write this email for you? Nope. Can AI come clean my house, please? Maybe I'll say yes to that. Would you like AI to come vacuum your carpets? Yes. Would you like AI to come scoop your cat's litter boxes and bag it and take it out to the trash? Yes. Yes. Would you like AI to clean all of your windows? Yes. Yes, I would. I would like that very much. Thank you. Anyway, let's talk about these Epstein files, honey. Oh, we're going to get there. Chat says, what do you think of this Bridget Macron and Candace Owens situation? We're going to get there. It's on my list. Okay. The Epstein files. Now, so much has happened that all the fine details have largely escaped me, which is why I think doing shows like this are important because we're capturing stuff as it's happening. Because one thing they're very good at doing, and a lot of narcs do this also, is they just throw so much at you, you cannot process it all. And if you're not very good at documenting, or if your memory is not strong, and you can even have a good memory, there's only so much you can hold in your short-term memory and only so much you can hold in your long-term. So they just flood you with all this different crap that you're trying to navigate and trying to catch this. And, it's like a flood. So you forget all the finer details, but I do remember this. I do remember that one of their big things for the past couple of years is that they wanted these Epstein files exposed because they wanted to expose all of these predators. Specifically, they wanted to expose the predators in the Democratic Party, which is why they were pushing for it so hard. They were hung up on it. Then, of course, Epstein gets arrested. He mysteriously dies in prison. They claim that he unalived himself. There's some tape out there with like a minute of it missing to where, like how did that minute go missing? Then you got, I think her name is pronounced Ghislaine. It's either Ghislaine or Ghislaine or I don't know. I'm just going to say Ghislaine. Ghislaine actually gets arrested, tried, convicted, and put in prison for what she did to all these young girls. But then now here in 2025, all of a sudden the files don't exist. So after all of this, like chaos and what's the word? Hubbubaloo? I can't remember the word. There's a word. All after all of this energy put behind the Epstein files, expose the list, drop the client list, after all of this, suddenly the files don't exist and it's a Democratic hoax. And it's like, really? Even Alex Jones was crying about it, you guys. That should go to show you how deep this whole situation has been, because that's been one of his big things too. Deep state pedos and exposing the deep state and this trafficking ring that climbs up to the highest levels, which I believe exists, by the way, exposing that and exposing the people on it who they primarily thought were going to be Democrats. And here's the thing, I have no doubt that there's probably some Democrats on there. Democrats, Republicans, independents, people who are not politically affiliated, just rich. Like, that's their dream come true. That's the end game, because you have to understand that a lot of what people like these want is forbidden things. They want things that are forbidden, things that you're not supposed to have, things that you're not supposed to do. To them, their money and their power grants them access to forbidden things. That's how that one billionaire ended up no longer with us, because he wanted to go see the Titanic. It's not necessarily that the Titanic itself is forbidden, it's that going that deep in the ocean kind of is. Mother Nature has kind of forbidden you from doing that in many different ways, but you took your ass down there anyway. And now you're no longer with us. They like to do forbidden things. They like to do the things that they've been told their whole life. You cannot do this. You're not allowed to do this. They want to, because you understand, when you have money like that and power, it pretty much dissolves all of your lesser issues. So little issues that plague other people, normal people, don't plague the rich, which is a duh, right? But I want you to really think about it, because I'm trying to help you understand the mentality. If their car breaks down, they can literally just go to it, have an Uber take them, or Uber, what am I thinking? Have their driver take them to the dealership and just go buy another one. Like, oh my God, my car broke down. Just get rid of it. I'll just go buy another one today. Cash off the lot. They don't have small problems like that. You understand? They don't like a house. They just move out of it, go buy another one. They'll sell the other one later. You understand what I'm saying? Anything they want to purchase, they can purchase, unless someone else already owns it. Right? And even then, that could be negotiable. The only thing they really haven't been able to fix with their money yet is their health. And that was evidenced by, oh, mercy, what was the baby's name? Steve Jobs. All that money, and he couldn't cure himself. And I'm not making fun of him at all. What I'm saying is their money still hasn't found a way to buy them more life. Different discussion, but you get my point, right? So when all of your lesser issues are dissolved, The only thing that's left are things that are supposed to be forbidden to everybody, no matter who you are, rich, poor, and everything in between. So that's part of the reason they engage in stuff like Epstein's Island, because that is forbidden. You are a grown man. You are not supposed to be laid up with some 12, 13, 14-year-old girl. It's disgusting. It's inappropriate. She can't consent to it. You're probably filthy because you're a grown man. You're affecting her health. They probably have gotten more than one of those girls pregnant before. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's so many reasons why a grown man is not supposed to be laid up with a child. It's obvious. But that's my point. It's forbidden. They want it because it's forbidden. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, and think about it like this also. When you're that rich and that powerful, for the most part, you can get almost any grown woman you want. Now, there are some grown women who'd be like, hell no. I don't care how much money you have or who you are. I'm not interested in you. Right? But there are a lot of women who it wouldn't take much. It really wouldn't. And that turns them off. It turns them off because grown women are more accessible to them. You see what I'm saying? They're more accessible. It's like, I could go date a supermodel if I wanted to. Yeah, I have all the supermodels' phone numbers. Big deal. Yeah, all the A-list Hollywood actresses, I have all of their phone numbers. Boring. They want what's forbidden. That's how they keep getting caught up in this stuff. That's how it keeps happening. That's why they want it. It's very twisted and very sick, but this is what happens when you don't have normal human worries. Anyway, I'm getting way off track. They did all of this, and now all of a sudden the files don't exist. Now the orange one has come out and said, Epstein, why does his name keep coming up? Epstein, everywhere I go, that's all they want to talk about. He was a loser. He was a loser, and I don't want to talk to him anymore. Democratic hoax. Let's move on. And it's like, oh, really? So if that's the case, why is your name on the flight logs multiple times, allegedly? I think that was actually proven, actually. I don't know if I have to say allegedly for that. Why is your name on this flight log so many times? Allegedly. And why is Ghislaine in prison? Because what is she in prison for? Like, if this doesn't exist, if this never happened, if this is all a Democratic hoax, then what was Ghislaine convicted based off of? Vibes? What was she convicted for if this is all fake? And the way that his now I like to give credit where credit is due. I cannot stand these people, but I will give credit that some of his supporters did turn on him for this. They did. It was shocking to see, actually. It was shocking to see them actually turn on him for something. They were burning their hats and everything because they were like, they're basically like, look, I'm racist as hell, and I don't care what you do with immigrants and women and their rights and all that. But I actually draw the line at child essay. It's like, wow, you have a line. That is beautiful. And I'm not going to mock you for that. I'm not going to mock you. I'm just speechless that you actually have a line. There is a line in the sand that you will draw. And that's when it comes to children. Well, thank God. Thank God you actually do stand for something. It's unfortunate that it doesn't extend outward from there, but we have to take what we can get at this point. So I'm very encouraged to see that a lot of his supporters, who also, by the way, have been some of the ones like release the files, drop those names, they some of them claim that that was half of the reason that they voted for him, because they wanted these names dropped. They want these files released. Now, understand that they thought that that's because it was going to be primarily Democrats on that list. But I think what we all kind of know in our heart is that it's a little bit of everybody. It's a little bit of everyone. We know that, but I don't think they knew that. So that's why they're so upset, because it's like, We were supposed to nail those Democrats to the wall with those files. And now you're saying they don't exist? You are a fraud, sir. You're a fraud and a con man. And I think he even went off on them too, didn't he? He was like, oh, if you're one of my supporters, oh, now I have to find it. He was like, if you're one of my supporters and you're still believing that, then you're stupid or something. Trump turns on supporters over Epstein files. Let me see. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did. Hold up. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Let me share my screen. It's all coming back to me now. There's been so much. What's happening? Boom. Okay, here we go. This actually came out just a couple days ago, July 28th. Trump turns against right-wing media and his own supporters over Epstein. President Trump, they didn't have to open it like this. They didn't have to start this paragraph like this. President Trump is a 79-year-old lame duck president approaching a difficult midterm in which he is likely to lose his Republican House majority. To add to that is the hardball political reality behind his failing effort to hush the scandal surrounding the deceased. Come on, computer, stop. Surrounding the deceased ex-trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. The right-wing talking heads with the biggest audiences are starting to turn on him. Perhaps they are having pangs of conscience. Perhaps they are starting to think about their paychecks, their influence, and their future livelihoods once Trump exits the stage. Whatever their motives, those top voices in the Trump media echo chamber deserve credit for keeping their spotlight on the Epstein case. And it is a good faith effort because the central truth is that countless young women were abused. I think I can say that word on YouTube since, this police state and we're in fourth grade. It is deeply troubling that the justice system failed those young women. The plea deal given to Epstein in 2008, which allowed him to plead guilty to, I don't think I can say that word, to selling adult services and not more serious charges of trafficking, can only be politely described as suspicious. Even Epstein's death by unaliving prompted reasonable doubt and questions about possible foul play. We know all this, blah, blah, blah. I want to get to the part where he's talking, where he turned on them, blah, 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 blah. Yes. We know all this. Here we go. Now, these ads are out of control. Now, Trump is busy attacking his own followers as foolish for buying into the bullshit hook, line, and sinker and called them weaklings. That's what he called them. He is also trying to distract his fans by releasing new files on Dr. Martin Luther King's, can I say that word? Involuntary unaliving, and sending out minions to make baseless, long dismissed charges of treason against former President Barack Obama. I remember that. It's like he's trying to throw up a smoke screen, basically. Like, Epstein, but look at Dr. Martin Luther King, look what he did, and Obama. I'm surprised he hadn't brought Hillary up in all of this. Trump has also filed a $10 billion lawsuit against the Wall Street Journal and its owner, Rupert Murdoch, for reporting that Trump once sent a bawdy birthday card to Epstein. I remember that too. God, there's been so much. Trump's strategy of distraction is nothing new. 55 years ago, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, like to any conservatives listening and Republicans, because I know that y'all lurk on my page for the oddest reason. I will never understand that. I don't understand why they lurk. They know where I stand. I've been very clear from the very beginning, but they still kind of lurk. And I think it's because that last little bit of humanity that's left in them is like a plant that needs water. And I feel like I'm that water to them. They hate me. They give me a hard time. They leave nasty comments, but they still come. So I know you're here. So I want to ask you, why do you allow this man to do this and play in your face like this? Because this is what he's doing. He's playing in your face. He's calling you a fool for believing the very conspiracy that he was pushing for years, the very conspiracy that helped get him elected. Now he's calling you a weakling and foolish for believing all that stuff. How can you let this man play in your face like that? I'm asking an honest question. Like, you don't see this? And if you don't see it, it helps me understand why so many people grow up in abusive households. Because if you don't see how this man is playing in your face, that means people have played in your face in your own family, in your little community that you live in, and you probably played in your children's faces, which is why they don't speak to you anymore. That's why they don't call. That's why they don't visit. That's why they don't bring the grandchildren around, because you latch on and are so committed to lies. You have a kinship and a friendship with lies and liars. And even when someone is blatantly playing in your face, you will still remain loyal to them to the end. That's why your kids don't fool with you anymore. They can't stand you because you never took them seriously. When they came to you with different issues and problems, you just dismissed them outright because you were determined to only believe what you believe, and that's it. So, anyway, how can you let this man play in your face like this? He promised you that they were files. He promised you that he was going to release them. They walked around holding binders a couple of months ago or whenever that was. They walked around holding binders, the Epstein files phase one, got everyone all geeked up to see what's in it. And now he's saying, it's a Democratic hoax. Like, you really gonna let him play with you like this? Ooh, chat says you have an unnatural allegiance to losers. Shout out to Cat Williams, who has proven to be prophetic. Yes. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes. But apparently the FBI has closed the case. They're like, yeah, there's nothing to see here. Okay, well then let Ghislaine go. Let her go. The new worrying concern now is that if Trump pardons her, she's going to go, yeah, it was all Democrats in there and Trump did nothing wrong. And they're going to let him get away with it. That's what people are worried about now. But I don't know. I wonder if this prison experience maybe has changed her to say, you know what, I'm old. Because I think Ghislaine is getting up there. Ghislaine is almost 60, I think, which is not super old, but it ain't super young. Like, you have a chance to change the entire world, Ghislaine. You could change the world. You could save the world, girl, from this man. You could save us all. Do it. Do it. Don't be scared. What do you have to lose? You've already lost so much. What do you have to lose? Save us, please, honey. I'll tell you what to do. What you need to do is write a letter and you need to mail it somewhere, maybe to a P.O. box or something, and pay for the P.O. box for like a year or 2 years, and then let it expire. And when it expires, they're going to have to clear everything that's in there out. And then that's when it will be found. You need to do something like that. You need to write it all down, find a way to bury that book somewhere in waterproof, vacuum sealed plastic. You've got to help us. You might be the only one who can actually do it. So speaking of which, speaking of powerful men, I don't think so either. Chat says, I don't think Epstein is dead. I don't think so either, actually. I think he's somewhere being quiet, probably on his island. Let's talk about this Diddy trial. This is another one that I've been keeping up with, but I don't have all the specifics. But I know that basically he got away with, like, well, not got away, but he essentially got a slap on the wrist, right? He got, here, let me see. What was Diddy convicted of? He ultimately ended up being convicted on 2 counts of transportation to engage in adult interactions. He was acquitted of racketeering conspiracy and 2 counts of sex trafficking. I guess I have to say it. I hate how we have to edit our words. These charges carry a maximum sentence of 10 years in prison each. The case involved alleges that Combs transported individuals, including his girlfriends and male adult activity workers, to engage in adult activity encounters, violating the Federal Mann Act. The jury, after deliberating for over 2 days, found him guilty of the two adult activity counts, but acquitted him of the more serious charges. Combs' lawyers have requested a new trial or a vacation of the verdict, while also seeking his release on bail pending sentencing. The judge denied bail, and Combs remains in custody. Sentencing is scheduled for a later date. So basically, out of everything that he was charged with, he basically got convicted of the lesser charges. He got convicted of the transportation to engage in those activities, which a lot of people online were saying, how can you get convicted for the transportation of the activities, but not the activities themselves? So you drove the car? You were like the chauffeur? So I want to say this because I think it relates to this whole Epstein thing and all of this stuff, right? Like, it is so sad to me what type of world males have set up for us. Like, this is the world that we're forced to navigate because this is what powerful men choose to do. Instead of taking their money and becoming inventors or philanthropists or, running companies that really help change the world and make the world more fun to live in, easier to live in, more profitable for everyone involved, they always want to do something with their damn dick. I just don't get it. Like, that is the only thing they think of. They become rich, they become famous, powerful. Where can I put my dick? What can I do with my dick today? And how can I force other people to interact with it? Like, it's so low level. The level is so low. It's so low. Speaking of which, like, we got Shannon Sharp on the screen as well. Like, Shannon Sharp basically just gave away all of his worldly wealth to an OnlyFans model who alleges that he essayed her, basically. And he just went on ahead and settled out of the lawsuit itself was $50 million. He went ahead and settled for $23 million, which some people are saying is more than he made in his NFL career. I think they said he made $22 million in his NFL career. And then he had a gig going with ESPN and they let him go this week. So it's like, what are these men doing? What is wrong? What's wrong? Why is that the only thing you think about? No matter what, if you're a politician or some rich real estate mogul, you're getting on some weird guy's plane, flying to an island, essaying underage girls. If you're not doing that, you're a rich musician trafficking people to these weird parties and making them engage in freak offs that last for days at a time, to the point where people are getting dehydrated and need IV drips to keep going. There's allegations that some of those people were put under the influence without their awareness. Okay, because I don't know how to speak on YouTube anymore. I don't know what words are allowed. I wish they would give us a list of things that we can't say. That would be very helpful, YouTube. Just give us a list of the words that we can't say so we don't say them. You beating up people, we got that on video, so I don't have to allege that. We got you on video beating the crap out of your girlfriend and dragging her back into the hotel room because she tried to escape. Like, these are the males that are shaping our entire existence. And this is the only thing they think about. They'll lose $23 million fortunes, generational wealth behind sex. That is insane. And they're the ones who think that they're supposed to be the leaders. They're the ones who think that they're more logical and more rational than women, but you're the one who just gave away your entire fortune to a girl half your age who you barely know because you just couldn't control yourself. I saw a tweet earlier. Did I take a screenshot of it or did I save it? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I hope I saved it. I know I did. Just typical. I don't know where I saved it. Oh, here's one I saved that's related to this. It says, I don't know why anyone is surprised that Diddy basically got off when we have an adjudicated rapist sitting in the White House. Men with wealth and power who abuse women are celebrated in this country, and that is true. We celebrate it. We literally celebrate all of this. It's insane. Where is the tweet? Somebody phrased it perfectly for what Shannon just did. Oh, let me see if I can find it. But for me, that's why. Oh, I found it. Wow. The tweet says, while Shannon could have been providing generational wealth for his children, there is now a white woman younger than his children who will be able to profit from his lack of self control. His lack of self control. This girl is rich for the rest of her life. And if she has children, they'll be rich, unless she spends it all, of course, if she doesn't invest it wisely. But all she had to do was just exist, let this man lose control, and now his generational wealth is gone. It's gone, y'all. But these are our leaders. These are our talking heads. These are our politicians. These are our entertainers. That's why typically anytime I hear an accusation come across about a man, I almost always believe it. Now, some of you would say that that's unfair, but the reason I almost always believe it is because, number one, it keeps proving itself to be true over and over and over again. But number two, as a woman living in this country, I have experienced it. I've never been SA'd in the way that these individuals were, but I've experienced that creepy behavior, that oh God, is he about to try to do something type feeling. There was one time in particular, I went to leave. The guy grabbed my wrist, and then it's almost like something in him said, let her go. And then he let my wrist go, and I left, and I never, ever went to his house again, ever. But in that moment, when he grabbed my wrist as I was walking out the door, I was like, oh my God, I'm about to be SA'd. Like, this is not happening for real. And then it's like something in him, like I could see the wheels turning in his head, and something in him made him decide to release me. And he let my wrist go, and I never spoke to him again, never saw him again, anything. We've all been there. We've been there with so-called male friends who all of a sudden get very handsy and very touchy and grabbing. You literally have to push them off of you. I've been there. Almost every woman that I know has been there. We know how y'all operate. And the reason that a lot of men don't know is because men aren't women. And unless the man is either bisexual or gay, he's never going to do that to you. And even if he was bisexual or gay, you stand a strong chance of getting punched in the mouth if you try that type of stuff on a guy who's not interested. He might kill you, actually, if you try that with him. So a lot of men know not to push up on men and get all creepy on a man. You're not going to go smack a man on the ass and expect good results unless you're just in that type of environment. You know what I'm saying? Like a gay club or something where maybe that happens. But then at the same time, I don't know. Maybe that's not cool in the gay clubs either. I need to ask. I need to ask some of my friends. Like, if you're in a gay club and a guy comes and smacks you on the ass, is that considered acceptable, expected, or is it just as uncomfortable as when it happens to women? Because I actually don't know, because you never know. It could be considered disrespectful and rude and gross. I don't know. I need to find out, right? But the point is, I've seen how men operate behind closed doors. As a woman, I've seen it. I've experienced it. So when I hear stories like this, it doesn't surprise me. It almost seems to be par for the course. What does surprise me is that women keep hanging around these guys. Now, I'm talking about the women who are hanging around voluntarily. I'm not talking about the women who are involuntarily placed in these situations, because that happens too. That happens too. For example, maybe a girl goes to a party, then for whatever reason, maybe all the girls leave, or maybe she gets there and discovers, there's a lot of guys here. Where are all the girls? The other girls never show up. It happens, right? People sometimes end up in these situations involuntarily, or something gets slipped in her drink and she ends up in a situation involuntarily. I'm talking about the girls who go into it with a clear heart, head, and mind. You haven't been drugged. You know where you are. You know how creepy these dudes are, and you go there anyway. That's that's interesting to me because it's just so dangerous. It's so dangerous. A lot of these men are very dangerous, and the more money they have and the more power they have, the more dangerous they become because they think that they are untouchable. Okay? So anyway, I'm way down the rabbit hole. Let me climb myself back out of the rabbit hole. The Diddy trial is an unfortunate testament to what type of society we have. Men like him will very, very rarely be held accountable. It's rare. Him, Trump, the Trumps of the world, the Diddies of the world. It's surprising that Shannon actually got held accountable. And I don't even mean by the payout, which is a form of accountability. I mean by ESPN letting him go. That's shocking because normally they stand behind and they support these men no matter what. No matter what they've done, no matter what they've said, they stand behind them and support them no matter what. So to see ESPN let him go is actually kind of surprising. I'm surprised by that. You know, like it must have been something else. Like maybe he didn't get along with the executives, or I don't know, but or maybe sports is trying to reclaim its original, like it was sports was supposed to be something like with integrity and with ethics and some kind of morals, because it teaches boys discipline, sportsmanship, dedication, um, physical fitness and health. They used to do things for the community, like going to the elementary schools and signing basketballs and baseballs and footballs. And it used to be what's the word? Wholesome. There's the word I'm looking for. Wholesome. It was sports was supposed to be wholesome, and somehow it got away from that. So maybe this is ESPN trying to get back to being wholesome. I don't know. But it doesn't surprise me. And if Diddy walks completely, that wouldn't surprise me either. I wouldn't be surprised to see Trump let Diddy off. But the reason I think for that is because I think Diddy has something on Trump. They used to kick it, they used to hang out. There's all kinds of pictures of them together. So I think Diddy has something on Trump because keep in mind, Trump was not always president of the United States. He used to just be some rich guy who lived in New York and scammed a bunch of people up there, allegedly. I have to say allegedly, unfortunately. So, and Diddy's from New York. So they know they have dirt on each other. So Trump might let him go just so Diddy doesn't release the dirt that he has. And if that happens, we are in a new era of danger as it relates to these men because they already don't believe women when women come out and say that things happen. They already don't believe them. So if Diddy gets released, Trump walks, Epstein walks, everyone walks, it's going to embolden these men in a way that would have me to tell you to exercise your Second Amendment rights. Exercise them. I don't care how you feel about firearms. If these men keep getting off for these types of accusations and allegations with all kinds of proof behind them, and they walk, it's going to embolden your average man to basically say to himself, I can do whatever I want to you. Trump will let me off. The courts will let me walk, you know? Women have no rights in this country. I can do whatever I want to you. And to that, I would say exercise your Second Amendment rights. Okay. Oh, honey, let me check my Q&A. Welcome, everyone. It's good to see y'all. Crazy, insane, wild times we are living in. Chat says, or excuse me, the Q&A says, have you heard about the Faison Love case? I have not. I haven't heard anything, actually. Sorry. I'm not familiar with that, but I'll look it up once the stream is over. Okay. So what else? I addressed that one. I addressed this one. All right. Let's talk very briefly. He's on the thumbnail, so I'll just cover him briefly. But the guy in the orange jumpsuit, Brian Koberger, apparently confessed to the Idaho student unalivings. So he's been convicted, and he got multiple life sentences. That whole entire case was very weird to me. From beginning to now at the end, very, very strange. Something about that whole situation sits very, very weird with me, and it has from the beginning. Very weird. But apparently he confessed, and he got convicted. So there's that. But I'm just going to skate past that one because I want to get on to Miss Candace Owens. This woman here. So I have not liked Candace for a very, very, very long time. And I really have never addressed her like heavily on the channel. I brought her up before, but I tend to just ignore Candace. But I can't ignore this because it's not funny. What the Macrones are going through is not funny. What she's done to them is not funny. It's funny to me that she's getting sued because of it. So if you're not familiar, Candace apparently for the past 2 years or so has embarked on this campaign of trying to prove that the president of France's wife is actually a biological male. And again, that's not funny. The accusation isn't funny. What she's put these people through is not funny. Just the fact that I'm even saying these words and the fact that this is even our reality in 2025 is completely insane. Here you are, you've got a platform. It's a twisted platform, but it's a platform nonetheless. You're famous. I don't know about Candace's money, but I assume she's got some kind of money. You're famous, you've got money, and you have devoted your life to trying to prove someone else's spouse was born a biological male. And they have finally gotten sick of her and they sued her. Okay? They sued her. And apparently I knew I forgot something. Thank you. Chat says Malcolm Jamal Warner. Thank you. I knew there's been so much. I have forgotten about just everything. Like there's so much. But she doubled down. So they dropped the lawsuit on her. And she came out in a response and she basically doubled down on it and said, she's like literally telling this woman, you were born a man and I look forward to seeing you in court. Now here, I mean, just of all the things to get sued for, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is part of your legacy now, Candace. And the reason that I have never liked Candace, or at least haven't liked her since I've become aware of her, is that Candace is willfully ignorant. And that's what pisses me off about her. The people that she appeals to, I believe a lot of them are genuinely ignorant. Like they're sincerely ignorant. They're not playing. They're actually stupid. Candace is not stupid. She chooses to be. And she chooses to build her platform on helping people become more stupid and making life more difficult for other people by virtue of the stupidity that she's instilling in others. She refuses to truly think critically. She refuses to really, unless, and maybe this is what I'm not considering, maybe she really is stupid. Maybe I'm suffering from my bias, which is I always think people are smarter than they actually are. That's a bias that I've been working on for a very long time, and I'm trying to get past it. I just refuse to believe and accept that the human mind is not capable of learning. That's what I have trouble with. Because I just believe that if you have a functional brain, your brain has no choice but to learn. It has to. So the fact that you can turn that off is something that my brain can't accept, but I'm working on it. So maybe she is truly dumb, but I don't think so. Candace isn't stupid. She chooses to look the other way when it comes to logic and intelligence and things of that nature. That's why I can't stand her. If I believe she truly believed what she was saying, I wouldn't bother her. But there's no way she can unless she herself is stupid or she's being paid a lot of money to help people become stupid. But anyway, her mouth has finally written a check that her ass can't cash because how horrible to be someone being accused of being born a biological male. How exactly do you prove that? And who are you to demand that somebody prove to you what genitals they have or what their biological makeup is? You have no right to demand that out of someone. Because how then does that not turn into a situation where everywhere you go, you have to lift your skirt up to prove that you're a woman? Because that's where it's headed. All it would take is someone saying, that's a man. And you're like, no, I'm not. They're like, yes, you are. You were born a man. And you're like, no, I'm not. So then they set up a YouTube channel and they go on this campaign telling the whole world, you were born a man. And all you can either do is stand there and say, no, I wasn't, or lift your skirt up and let's see. Oh, wow, you really are a girl. Okay, my bad. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's and of all you're not worried about homelessness, you're not worried about the rising prices, you're not worried about all this war, this nonstop war, all this money we're spending from war, all the casualties and all the tragedies and suffering as a result of war. You're not worried about all of these natural disasters that are occurring, flooding and tornadoes and earthquakes earthquakes and this heat. You're not worried about any of that stuff. You're not worried about healthcare. You're worried about whether or not someone else's spouse was born a biological male or not. That's what you're concerned about. How embarrassing. Like, that's embarrassing. How low level. Like, the level couldn't get any lower. Like, there are so many other things to concern yourself with. You worried about what's the French president's name? Is it Emmanuel Macron? You're worried about where he lays his head at night and where he places his body at night. That ain't got nothing to do with you. Like, would you like to be invited to their bed? That has nothing to do with you. Why don't you worry about your husband? Don't you have 3 kids? Like, you have 3 children. Don't you have 3 children to worry about? And you are worried about who the French president is sleeping with and whether or not they were born male or female. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just so absurd. It's absurd, is what it is. We are living in truly absurd times. And I cannot imagine what it's going to be like to be her children 10, 15, 20 years from now, looking back on their mother's legacy, saying, oh my God, mom, how cringe and embarrassing. You got sued by the French president because you were trying to prove that his wife was born a man. Like, who cares? That has nothing to do with you. Worry about your husband's genitals. But apparently she's not interested in her husband's genitals because she over here worried about the French president's spouse's genital. Like, What time frame are we living in? What timeline are we in, y'all? Sometimes I feel like sometimes I feel like the world really did end at the start of 2000, the end of 1999. And this, we are now living in the alternate timeline of that because there's just no way that this is real life. There's no way that this is real life. This cannot be real life. It can't be. Okay. Excuse me. Let's move on. Welcome everyone. It's good. It is the Twilight Zone. It's the Twilight Zone. What else is on my little list here? Um, let's talk about this Kiss Cam scandal at the Coldplay concert. Again, more alternate timeline craziness. Okay, let me pull up. I'm sure most of you have seen it by now. So Coldplay, the band, had a concert, as many of you are aware, and they did like a kiss cam, like how they do at the like baseball games and things of that nature. And they put the camera on these people. I have so much to say about this. They put the camera on these people. And when the two of them realized that they were on the Jumbotron, basically the big screen, I think the guy ducked down and hid like beneath the bleachers or whatever. And the woman turned and covered her face and then like kind of like ran away or whatever. And then I think his name is Chris Martin said, whoa, either these two are having an affair or they're very shy, right? And no one thought anything of it until it turns out they really were having an affair. And they weren't just regular people. One of them is was the CEO of some company called Astronomer, which I guess is some startup. I don't know what they actually do, but that's the name of the company. And then the woman was his head of HR at the same company. Oh. So before I give my thoughts, the man's wife has filed for a divorce. Oh, and I took a screenshot of what she said because it was so beautifully, brilliantly written. I just have to find it. The man's wife has filed for a divorce. She wants $50 million. And I don't know that the HR lady has been let go yet. I know they were both put on vacation. He has a whole family. Oh, I found it. He has a whole family and children. I think she was either recently married or recently divorced or something, but she's with someone. I think she might be married herself. She just bought a house with her husband, who was the CEO of another company. And he, the Astronomer's former CEO, is allegedly suing Coldplay for ruining his life. And you just can't make this stuff up. You really can't. He basically, in his statement, said something to the effect of, this was a private moment that got exposed publicly, and I did not consent to that. And we need to think twice before we ruin other people's lives or things like that, as if the cameraman knew who he was. Like, why would the cameraman assume that this wasn't your wife? You know, the way you're embracing her, she's smiling, you're smiling. Why would the cameraman assume that these weren't two people who are okay with being in public, enjoying the concert, clearly in love? And, you know, like, why would the cameraman assume otherwise? He doesn't know who you are, you know? So the narcissism of it all is insane. Like, you ruined my life. Like, no, sweetheart, you ruined your life. You ruined your life. You decided to cheat on your wife. You decided to go out in public with your mistress. And I imagine that, and this is just me making an assumption, They probably were doing that kiss cam all night long. So surely you've seen other people displayed on the big screen with this kiss cam. I'm assuming. I don't know that. I'm making the assumption. So you had to know that you were eligible to be put up on the big screen also. You had to have known that, right? Either way, it doesn't matter. Either way, you're the one who went out in public with your mistress from your company and got exposed in the worst way. And now you want to sue Coldplay for ruining your life. And I sincerely hope the judge throws that lawsuit out because how insane and how ridiculous, right? Let me read the statement from his wife. So this is the formal statement from Megan Byron. It's so beautifully written. Listen. It has come to my attention, and apparently to the attention of half the internet, that my husband, Andrew Byron, has made certain choices, public ones, under stadium lights, during a Coldplay concert, a venue not typically associated with infidelity, but here we are. Let me be perfectly clear. I am not issuing this statement in defense nor in heartbreak. I am issuing it in power, in precision, in silk gloves and sharpened wit. I will not be engaging in performative forgiveness, nor am I interested in the optics of grace. What Andy has done is not just humiliating, it is banal, common, a man of ambition brought down by his own astonishing lack of imagination. I have retained counsel. I have reviewed holdings. I have reallocated what was once ours into what is now very cleanly mine. I am not spiraling, I am ascending. And while Andy may have quoted Coldplay in his statement, I will simply say, when the lights went out, I saw everything clearly. To those who expect tears, I don't cry for clowns. I schedule, I document, I rebuild. This is not revenge, it is refinement. And he will feel it in the silence that follows. Ooh, girl. Oh, oh my God. Just so brilliantly written. Like, this is one of my favorite statements of all time because it is just so, there's so much in here. I'll see if I can find it and display it. But my favorite parts of this where she said, I will not be engaging in performative forgiveness, which we see all the time, right? We see people get caught up in these things or something happens and they come out and say, I forgive you for fill in the blank. I choose to forgive. Shut up. Nope. I'm not going to engage in performative forgiveness, nor am I interested in the optics of grace. Girl, I want to go learn wherever she went to learn how to write like this. I want to go there and I want to learn how to write like this. And then here's my favorite my favorite line. What Andy has done is not just humiliating, it is banal, common. A man of ambition brought down by his own astonishing lack of imagination. Like, oh, that makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand up because this woman has communicated, I'm not going to crash out on you. I am so profoundly disappointed in you. You are so ambitious. You've built this whole entire company. You've done all this and you were brought down by your own lack of imagination. And is that not what brings so many of these people down? Their own astonishing lack of imagination. Like I could do a whole show on that because I feel like that's part of narcissists' problem in general. They lack imagination. They cannot imagine 2 or 3 steps ahead into the future. They can only see the here and now. And that is very, very dangerous. That's like driving down a road that's very, very foggy at top speed. You can only see the next couple of feet in front of you, but you are just plowing through the fog as if you can see what's up ahead. Like just the total lack of ability to imagine consequences, to imagine possibilities, to imagine how this could play out, the different scenarios that this could play out. And I feel personally like a lot of men suffer from this in particular. There is a content creator named Melanie Hamlet. I watch a lot of her stuff. She's very good. Many of you are probably already familiar with her, but she talks about this often. And she talks about how often, like, fathers get their children hurt or worse for this very reason, a lack of imagination, like taking your son or daughter out hiking in inclement weather because, you think it's a great idea. And then you both get hurt or worse. You know what I mean? The lack of imagination of what could happen. You see what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of times when you bring up your concerns because you have an imagination, people like this will dismiss them. Oh, you worry too much. Oh, you're always thinking the worst. All this, all that. It's not that you're thinking the worst. You're using your imagination and you're not cooking up unrealistic scenarios. You're usually cooking up scenarios that could actually happen because maybe they've happened before. Or you're just preparing in the event that they do happen. It's not that you want them to happen or that you even think that they will. You're preparing in the event that they happen. Here's our backup plan. Men like this don't think like that. And she called him out for it. She said, a man brought down by his own astonishing lack of imagination. Like, my heart, this type of writing makes me feel alive. Okay. So I think she's suing him for, I think she's going to take it all. Because she said in the statement, she went through the assets and it's all hers now. So there's that. So love that. Beautiful statement, beautifully written. And here's my other thoughts and commentary on this and why I think this struck me so profoundly. Because not these two in particular, because obviously I don't know them, but I've worked at a lot of different companies, right? And these companies always try to present themselves like they are the moral authority, and they always have their values on the wall. These are our values. These are the values that we live by. These are the values that we expect all of our associates to display and embody and maintain, right? Even like when they have you do your annual goals, goal setting, you have to set your goals around their values. It makes me want to puke. You want to know why it makes me want to puke? Because they almost never live up to or abide by their own values. Things like trust, respect, honesty, integrity, quality, things like that. The values that they espouse, they almost never live by them. I could get behind them if I actually worked for a company that truly lived behind their values and truly stood for their values. And I'm not going to lie to you. I have taken jobs before because I fell for the hype. Like when I was talking to the recruiter would be telling me, yeah, and we value openness, honesty. We value innovation at this company. We value respect and blah, blah, blah. And I'd be like, wow, that sounds like the type of place I'd like to work for. Sounds way different from where I'm working now. So if that's what y'all are about, then sure, I'll take the job, only to discover they don't embody any of those values. It's all just so fake. It's all so fake. I'm so sick of the artificiality of this world. I'm sick of it. Everyone is so fake. Stop being fake. Start being real. Then we might get somewhere. We might actually get somewhere if everyone could just be just a little bit more honest throughout the course of their day. But anyway, these companies are the ones, especially these startups, are the ones who are always screaming and hollering about all these values. But your CEO is up here with the head of HR, you guys, the woman who fires people for not living by the values and the culture. You up here with the head of HR having a full-blown affair at a Coldplay concert. Like, it's just, to me, this represents the experience. This represents how so many companies really are, is what I'm trying to say. This is the archetype. We state all these values over here, but in reality, this is what we're doing over here. And we expect you not to notice. We expect you not to realize that the two don't align. The two don't go together because they actually think you're dumb. They think you're dumb. And I find that insulting above all other things. You think I'm dumb, but you're the one up here not living by what you preach and thinking we won't notice, as if we don't have eyes and ears and a brain that works. So anyway, there's that. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the Coldplay lawsuit. I'm sure some judge is going to throw it out. Because it's like, hey man, you ruined my life. It's like, no, they didn't. They actually didn't. You did. But and on top of that, it's just sad because setting up a company is not an easy thing to do. And then setting up a successful company is not an easy thing to do. And the fact that you would throw it all away over this. Like, if he really loved this woman, what he should have done was gone to his wife and said, I'm so sorry, I would like a divorce. Then divorce his wife properly, sort out their assets. And then if this is the woman you want to be with, then go be with her. But you want to keep your wife and your family over here and be out here running around with the mistress and then get mad when Coldplay accidentally called you out. Like, the narcissism of it all is stunning. I don't see how she could be attracted to that after a statement like that. That's almost like someone, if they ever release the Epstein files, someone coming out and saying, hey, you ruined my life. It's like, no, you got on a plane and went to an island to take advantage of underage girls. You ruined your life. Don't ever let these narcissists twist it up. Don't ever let them twist it up, ever. I will say society has gotten much better at recognizing it, though. All right. Oh, yeah. And she's married too. Like, if this is your person, which I'm not saying it may not be, but y'all need to go about things the right way. Just divorce, divide the assets, and move on. I personally think people are this is a different topic. This is what I'm talking about. I think the reason we keep having these problems is because society has brainwashed everyone that being married is the only thing that really matters. And if you're not married by a certain age, something is wrong with you. So you need to get married and get married quick. So you're not one of those people who has reached a certain age and aren't married, because that's the worst thing that could possibly happen to you. And it's simply not true. And people believing that lie causes them to marry people they actually don't really like, and they certainly don't love, but they do it because they don't want to be the oddball out. All of their friends are married. Everyone in their family is married. So they have to get married to kind of fit in, basically. So they marry someone they don't really like, don't really care about like that, but she'll do or he'll do. And then they're finally socially acceptable, but privately miserable. And in that private misery, they go out and they start having affairs that ultimately ruin their entire lives because they were too afraid to just be alone until they met somebody who they truly loved and truly cared about. Because the other part of that lie is that you'll meet someone by a certain age that is your person, the person you're supposed to be with, and absolutely nobody and nothing guarantees that to you. There is no guarantee that by the time you're 21 or 25 or 30, you will have met the person that you're supposed to spend the rest of your life with. Where did that lie come from? Where would you even have to choose from? elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and a couple of years in the workforce. That's your circle to choose your lifetime partner with. Elementary school, middle school, high school, college, and a couple of years in the workforce. And you think you've sampled millions of people enough to know who you're supposed to be with for the rest of your life? What if you're from a small town? There's not that many people in that small town for you to date and discover who your person is, and your person may not even live there. There's just so many different circumstances that go into meeting the person that you would have enough chemistry, compatibility, and shared values with to spend the rest of your life with in that short of a time frame. You've been under your parents' roof for the first 18 years of your life. And then you come out from under their roof and you think you're going to meet the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. Now, some people do, and those people are lucky, right? But it's exactly that. It's luck. There's nothing you can do. It is entirely circumstantial and 100% based on luck and timing. But people don't see it that way. So, in not seeing it that way, they go out here and they make all these silly mistakes. And they rush things and they force things through that shouldn't be forced through. Then you end up having affairs and your whole life blows up in your face. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what ends up happening with that. Okay. Let's shift gears really quick. So I wanted you all to be aware that apparently this is awful. They are getting ready to start doing ID checks like all across the internet. So one area where it's happening right now is Spotify. Apparently, Spotify is now asking for you to upload your ID, your driver's license or whatever, to prove you are old enough, I guess, to use the platform or something like that. And they're trying it in a whole bunch of different other areas as well. And I think YouTube said it might start doing that also. It's like, I'm so sick of these people. I'm so tired of them. I can't even express it or put it into words for you. Like, they just don't know how to do anything right. So the concern, obviously, is that internet anonymity is getting ready to go away. To where basically, if you wanted to log into your YouTube account and just watch whatever you normally watch, you first have to prove who you are and your identity by uploading your driver's license, because they want to make sure you're not a 13-year-old watching inappropriate content. And I want to say, what inappropriate content? We're barely allowed to curse on here. We're barely allowed to use real words that aren't even curse words. We have to say things like unalived or essayed or grape to try to speak in code because, we're 4 years old and we can't handle the truth, even though we're living in an incredibly toxic world. It's almost like you're not allowed to talk about how toxic the world is. You're not allowed to tell the real truth about it. You have to soften it for everyone. And it's like, if you want us to soften our language, why don't you soften the world that we live in? So we don't have to tell the real truth about you. You see what I'm saying? You see how backwards it is? It's like they're helping actively create this messed up world, but we're not allowed to talk about it in real terms. We have to speak about it gently because you're all gentle and you're all like 6 years old. And now they want to try to give us an ID system to where we have to upload our ID to use different internet platforms. So the request is that you reject that at every opportunity. Like, the people who are trying to log into Spotify and getting hit with that ID check, they've been saying that they just deleted their Spotify. And I highly encourage you to do the same to any platform that tries to do you like that, because you're not a child and we're not moving money. Like CashApp already does that. And like other like money platforms, they already make you prove your identity. But it kind of makes sense because the scams and scammers and like money laundering and things like that, I kind of get it. I'm halfway all right with that one. But that was probably the beginning of all this and I didn't realize it. But like I get it. Like if someone is claiming to be me and wants access to my bank account, I certainly hope that you would make them prove they are who they say they are, you know? But I'm not giving you my ID so I can listen to music. Grow up. If you don't like violent, vulgar music that the children might hear, stop making it. You ever think about that? Like, they're going to hear it anyway. They're going to find a way to work around it. They'll just log into their big brother's account, like who already gave them his ID, and then he just uses his password, and boom, the 13-year-old is in there. So if you don't like this world that you don't want them to see, why do you keep making it? Why do you keep creating it? It's weird. It's almost like we, the adults, are creating this hyper toxic, dangerous world, but we want to shield the kids from it until they reach a certain age. Then we welcome them into this hyper toxic, dangerous world. You could always just make the world less dangerous. That's easier, actually. But anyway, the primary concern is that it's becoming a police state, basically. And now they're trying to make the internet a police state as well. So chat says, I will discontinue my YouTube premium real quick. Excuse me. Right. Right. Chat says, these entities are going to make me go off the grid. I'm telling you, like, it's just so annoying, y'all. Like, excuse me. I think what annoys me the most about all of this is that there are still a lot of gaps in technology, like simple, basic things that should exist that don't, because y'all are more worried about high level spying on people. And it's mostly to have information on you to sell you things, because that's all they're going to do. They're going to sell you. They're going to use the information they think they have about you to try to sell you things. That's all it's about. And I find that so low level and so annoying. Like, you actually know how to build computers and software and apps, and it all points back to selling you something. Like, y'all are just such peddlers, man. You're hobos. You always selling something. You always got your hat out. Let me tell you, this is a sidebar, but one of the biggest issues I've dealt with living in my new house is these solicitors. Oh my God. This was not an issue at my last house. Here, where I'm living now, they come around almost every single day, y'all, to the point where I have now gotten not nervous, but anxious about being outside for more than 5 minutes, because I feel like they've got people posted up somewhere to where when they see one of the residents outside, it's like, go, go, go. She's outside, go. Because they pull up within 5 or 10 minutes of me being out there. Like if I'm taking my trash out, or the worst one is if I'm washing my car, it's like, got her, go, 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 move in, move in. And here they come. Some of them have these little, I don't even know what they're called. It's not a skateboard and it's not a scooter. It's got two wheels on it with no handlebars, but it rolls or something. I don't know what that thing is. I already got one. Chat says, get one of those stickers to put on your door, no soliciting or do not solicit. I already have one, and I have them on my Ring camera looking right at it and ringing the doorbell anyway, which I consider to be part of that spirit of rape. Like, I do not consent to you being here. I've given you a warning, and you're going to ring my doorbell anyway. So you don't care what I want. It's all about what you want. But they will pull up on these little hoverboard. Oh, they're hoverboards. Okay. This hoverboard type scooter thing. And it's like, they just do not take no for an answer. And that's what I don't like. Because typically what I'll say is, no, thank you, but I appreciate the offer. Have a good day. And they will not leave. They will not leave. They keep trying to show me something on the clipboard. And I'm like, sweetheart, I'm not interested, but thank you. Have a nice day. They will just keep and will follow you around. Like if I'm hosing my car off, like I won't stop the water. Like I'll keep the water going to kind of show like, hey, I'm busy. I'm not really interested in this, but thank you. Have a good day. They'll follow me around to the other side of the car, or I'm hosing off the windshield. I'm like, wow, you really don't give up. If I spray you with this water hose, would I be out of line? Every single day, every time I'm outside, here they come. They don't quit. So now I'm sitting here trying to come up with creative ways to get them to go away, to get them to leave me alone. And it's just so invasive, and it's just so like one of them knocked on my door. It was like 8:30 the other night because the sun hasn't been going down until about 9 o'clock lately, sometimes almost 9:30. The sun goes down. I hear someone ringing my doorbell. I'm like, who the hell is this? I go look on my ring. Someone selling pest control services. Like, why are you at my door at 8:30 at night, sir? Why? Why? No, I've decided I'm going to start freaking them out. I have all kinds of scenarios in my head, but I'll share this one with you guys. So, for the pest control people, they all have this little laminated plastic sign that they like to show you. And they're like, these are the type of bugs in the area. So, the next time one of them pulls up on me and I tell them no, thank you, and they keep going, I'm saying, listen, I'm going to level with you. I actually eat them. They're part of my protein source, and with prices going crazy in the grocery store, got to save money where we can. And they are excellent little sources of protein, let me tell you. Some of them are a little spicy, have a little kick to them, but overall, like, yeah, they're great sources of protein. Yeah, I eat them. So I don't actually want you to spray for bugs because I eat them. And like I love to get some romaine and a little bit of Italian vinaigrette and then sprinkle a couple of those ants and a few crickets on the top, and boom, I got my protein, I got my veggies, and it's very, very filling. So that's one of my that I'm going to pull out of my back pocket. No, I don't want you to spray the bugs. I eat them, honey. Just to see what they say. Like, what do you say to something like that? If someone says, no, I don't want pest control because I eat them. Um, Another one I was thinking about was when they pull up, I'm like, oh my God, did he find you yet? And I'm like, did who find me? That guy that was looking for you earlier, did he find you? He looked really mad. I'm like, no one's looking for me. I'm like, are you sure about that? They described you to a T. I'd get out of here if I were you because he keeps spinning the block. So he might see you standing here, and I would hate for you to get hurt. Go, go, go now, go. Um, anyway. Oh, yeah, insect sushi. You got to do something because this whole not taking no for an answer thing actually makes me very uncomfortable. Because one, you have a lot of nerve rolling up on my driveway, fam. Like, this is not public property. So the fact that you feel comfortable just waltzing up my driveway without being invited, it would be one thing if they showed some respect and like spoke from the street and like, hey, may I come up? Because I would say, no, thank you, but have a good day. They just roll right up on your driveway like they're supposed to be there. Another idea I had, y'all, and I actually think I'm going to do this one for real, is I'm going to print out my Cash App QR code. You have a QR code associated with your account. And when they pull up, before they even start, I'm going to say, hold on, let me stop you right there. Time is money. And I can tell that you're about to take up some of my time. So I'm going to need you to go ahead and scan this with your phone. Yep. And then type in 25. Yep. 25. Yep, that's me. And then hit send. And that just bought you 15 minutes. What you need. And if they refuse to pay me for my time, then I am either going to just walk in my house and close the garage, or I'm going to scream, one or the other. But I think that's actually the approach. And I might even put it on my front door. Like, are you Amazon? Are you DoorDash? Then you must be here selling something. Time is money. Scan this QR code and I will talk to you for 15 minutes. $25 for 15 minutes. Apparently not. I looked it up. Chat says you can't call the cops on them. I looked it up. Apparently it's not against the law for them to solicit, even if you say no soliciting. Apparently it's not against the law. I think you can only call the cops if they get like aggressive with you. But apparently it's not illegal. It should be though. Like you should be able to be arrested if you ignore a no soliciting sign. You should be able to be arrested. Because I think about things like, what if I had a teenager, right? Like a teenage girl specifically, and what if she was outside washing her little car that I bought her, and here you and I'm at work, and here you come and you won't leave my teenage daughter alone. You know what I mean? Like it bother. I don't like that, y'all. I don't like the fact that you don't hear my no. That's what bothers me the most. The fact that you just keep pushing and keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing. I'm like, wow, you really don't hear no, do you? Does that affect other areas of your life? I don't like that. It's very, very bothersome to me. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. Another strategy I was thinking about when they won't leave me alone or won't leave, I'm gonna say, do you see that camera over there? My husband is watching and he's very, very crazy. I need you to leave right now. He's gonna think that like I'm flirting with you. He's gonna think that like that this is like something more than it is. Like I need you to go right now because he's insane and he's probably leaving work right now to come here and kick your ass. Like I need you to go. Something, but I'll keep working on my different scenarios. But those are the ones I've come up with so far. The chat says throw garlic and have a wooden steak ready. Speaking of garlic and wooden steaks, have y'all seen the movie Sinners? And do you want me to do a show where we cover the review of that movie? My goodness. I don't want to say too much because if I do, I will do the whole review right now. Okay. I will do the whole review sitting here right now, and I don't want to. I want it to be standalone and separate. Y'all just let me know. Oh, wow. Someone already asked, have you seen the YouTuber that uses Sinners? How to know you're dealing with a vampire videos? No, that's so funny that you brought that up. Um, okay, perfect. Okay, we're gonna do the Sinners review. And what time is it? Dang, it's kind of late tonight. Let's do the Sinners review tomorrow. So Saturday. Let's do the Sinners review tomorrow night. I cannot wait to talk about this movie with y'all. Oh my God. All I'll say right now is that I love it so much. It's my favorite movie of all time. And it's the only movie that I've watched multiple times. There's only one other movie I've watched more than once, and that was years ago. I've never watched a movie this many times in my entire life. In my entire life, I have not watched a movie this many times. So let me stop talking about it because I will accidentally do the entire review right here and now. So I'm going to put a thumb in that, but y'all mark your calendars for tomorrow night. Let's do a Sinners review because, oh my, I have to talk about this with somebody. I have to. I've been trying to get everyone I know in my circle to watch it just so I can have someone to talk to about it because I feel so much about this movie, y'all. So, okay. Yay for the Sinners review. Oh my gosh. If you haven't seen it, that's your homework for tonight. Stream it. It's everywhere. Go find it, stream it, watch it, and then we'll watch it. Not watch it together, excuse me. We'll break it down tomorrow together, okay? Oh my God, I'm so excited. All right, let's wrap this up. We've been here a little while. Let me see if I missed anything. Someone asked about coping strategies for times such as these. I'll be honest with you, the only way that I've been able to cope is just by pretending none of it's happening. And I'm not going to sit here and say that that's a good or a healthy strategy because I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I just don't know what else to do because if I dwell on it too much, I fall into despair very easily. And I don't like feeling despair because it makes me feel helpless and it makes me feel hopeless. So I have just been pretending that none of this is happening. And that's literally the only way that I know how to cope, y'all. That's it. I wish I had a better answer for you. I really do. I don't think ignoring all this stuff is the answer. I don't think that solves any of our problems. It probably makes it worse. But that's the only way I know how to deal with it right now. That and resisting in any way that is available to me. So, for example, this whole AI takeover, I resist AI every opportunity that I can. Every opportunity that I can. I resist it and I reject it. That's my little contribution to fighting this beast. I resist it and I reject it. So little things like that. Little things like refusing to participate in their different consumer products and services and things like that. Like I just refuse. Um, with the exception of Sinner. I'm sorry, I had to see that. I had to see that movie, but I don't consider that caving because I feel like that contributes to the arts. And I feel like I'm contributing to the arts by watching and supporting that movie. I don't feel like I'm contributing to capitalism per se, even though they made a ton of money off of it. I think they deserve every penny. I really do. So I don't really count that, but everything else I just kind of ignore and I refuse to spend my money or participate in it. Um, so I'm putting up little resistances here and there, fighting like little battles. That's the only thing I know how to do, y'all. And I wish I had a better answer for you, but I don't. I'm sorry. So if yeah, someone said I have so many thoughts on that movie. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to talk to y'all about this because I have so many thoughts too. It's probably going to be a very long show. We'll probably be there for 3 hours. Okay. So at least you have something to do for Saturday night if you didn't have something to do before. Let me see. Let me check, see if any other questions or anything came through. Questions. Let's see. Oh, it says, what are your thoughts on the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case? It's involving content creators and their First Amendment rights concerning public figures. I'll be honest, I have not been following that. So I don't know enough or anything really to give you an answer, but I will look into it because I didn't know it was dealing with content creators and their First Amendment rights. I didn't know that. So I'll look into that for you, but I apologize that I actually don't know. And I think I will close this show. I hate that I don't have him on the thumbnail, but I'm kind of glad that I don't because it's all like scumbags on the thumbnail. So I'm glad that he's not on here. But just to give a shout out and a tribute to Malcolm Jamar Warner. I think I messed up his middle name. He played Theo on The Cosby Show. Jamal. I don't know where I got Jamar from. Malcolm Jamal Warner tragically and unfortunately passed in a drowning incident, I think in Costa Rica, and he was only 56. So it's so sad. It's like, it's just sad. So shout out to him. From what I've heard about him, he was a good guy, very private, and he was a good guy privately as well, and just an overall good human being. So it's always a tragedy when we lose someone like that, but I would be remiss to not give some sort of a tribute to someone who was contributing positive things to society. So shout out to Malcolm Jamal Warner. We will miss you. And a lot of fans of The Cosby Show are in deep, deep grief and mourning regarding this. And it is just really so sad. So take care of yourself, y'all, and value life as much as you're able to, because even though we're going through crazy, ridiculous times, we are here to go through them, right? Which I don't know that that's much comfort, but what I'm trying to say is, let's value every day above ground, no matter how miserable the powers that be try to make it. Try to carve out some fun. Oh my goodness, you know what? I do have an answer for you. So the question was, rest in peace, Malcolm Jamal Warner. The question was, how do you cope during these difficult times? I do have something that I do. I just forgot about it. I keep something that I call a happiness log or a happiness journal. And here's how that works. Every day, at least one good thing happens to me, or something I experience is a good thing, at least once a day, right? Something makes me happy at least once a day. So when that happens, I try to remember to put it on my happiness log. And here's how that works. It can be anything that makes you happy. So sometimes it's something that makes me laugh. Sometimes it's something that went, excuse me, went well. For example, if I order DoorDash and it actually arrives on time and my food is good, that makes me happy. I put that on my happiness journal. Um, if I a flower I planted 6 weeks ago bloomed today, that makes me happy. So I put that on my happiness journal. If I successfully complete a project or a chore that I've been meaning to do for a while, I'll put that on my happiness journal. You know what ends up on my happiness journal quite often? When I get a very good nap. So if I take a nap and it's a good nap, and I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, that was a good nap. That goes on my happiness journal. And what happens is over time, as you're scrolling through it, because I do mine on my app on my phone, as I'm scrolling through it, I'm like, wow, I've had a lot of really good moments and I've had a lot of really good things happen to me. One day I got all green lights. I don't know where I was going, but the whole way down, I got nothing but green lights. That went on my happiness journal. I'm like, I got all green lights today when I was running my errands. That made me happy. It made me very happy, actually. Just thinking about it makes me happy again. So I've started keeping a happiness log. So when I start to get down or I start to feel myself slipping into despair, I'll open up my happiness journal. I'm like, good things do happen to me every day. And it just helps me remember that so I don't get too down about this crazy, insane world that we're living in. Okay. So there is a piece of advice for you for coping through these difficult times. So I hope that you'll take it up. It's a journal that is specifically dedicated to just little good things that happen to you throughout the day. All right. So I hope that helps. I appreciate you guys so much. Let me see something real quick. What does this do? Show comments on stage. Live comments from viewers will appear on screen. Oh, interesting. Hey, somebody type something for me. Say goodnight, PTE, or something. I want to see this. I want to see how this works. But anyway, I hope that helps. I hope that you all enjoyed the show. Tune in. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Do y'all like that? I think I might like this. Can I move it around? Can I move it? Oh my God, what did I just do? Oh God, let me stop clicking things. Oh my God, how cute. Oh my gosh. I think I like this, actually. Oh, you can't see it. Oh no. Well, then what's the point? Why would they? It's this little feature that they've added. Oh, you can see it? Okay. I don't like that I can't decide what side of the screen it appears on. I don't like that. Make it bigger. I don't think I can. It doesn't give me that option. Well, that sucks. We'll play around with that. I just wanted to see what that was because it was new. So I'll leave it up while we close out. But thank you, you guys. We will link up tomorrow night for us to do our review of Sinners. I'm so excited. I love this movie and I cannot wait to talk about it with you all. It was great catching up with you. And we will talk again very, very, very soon. Okay. Have a good evening and we will catch up tomorrow night. Okay. Bye.